What's one piece of fitness advice that you hear all the time but think is totally overrated and even counterproductive?
Yeah, the no days off thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just work harder. That bothers me a little bit because I think that's said by a person who truly doesn't understand what the hell they're even talking about. Like I respect consistency, hard work, grit, getting it done when you don't want to, all of that stuff. But to just simply kind of make this blanket statement like no days off, just go, you'll sleep when you're dead kind of attitude thing. I think it's ridiculous. I did practice that for a long time. And I can tell you, while there was times where I was fit, I was also unhealthy, right? And in a couple of different ways. And so, that just grind until you die thing, that kind of stuff bothers me in terms of, I don't think it's specific to fitness advice all the time, but that one bugs me. There's several others, but that I think gets in front of people. Like they think they have to do it all the time.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's not realistic. And I don't think it actually gets people the results that they think they're getting.
Well, and I think kind of tied to that of doing, having to do all of this is I think a lot of people actually think they need to do a lot more than they need to versus being consistent with that. So even for myself, there'd be a long time where if I didn't have my 2-hour window to hit the gym, I just wouldn't even work out. Just throw my hands out. So game changer for me, but I try to preach to a lot of clients is that there's so much data, there's so much anecdotal data too to show that even just doing 15-minute little workouts, doing that is always better than doing nothing. If we're managing those things like recovery, you're not doing too much, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But you don't need to be doing an hour and a half of hard lifting or do 15 exercises every single time. Right. It's the consistency of doing them week after week. And that can be a big impact for a lot of people.
Yep. Agreed.
I'm having a hard time over here thinking of something.
Like overrated fitness advice?
Mm-hmm. I got one.
I'm sure you do.
If I'm looking to lose weight or lose fat, do more cardio. If I want to increase my caloric expenditure, do more cardio. Yeah, we brought it up in a recent recording, but I think that's probably the most flawed advice that I see the most often, and it does tend to be does seem to be geared a little more towards women than men, but men do fall prey to I'm trying to lose weight. I need to just go out and pound the pavement jogging with poor form, and then my joints hurt really bad, and then that's the only time I do that.
And then I'll push back on one that I actually went to for a long time was the opposite of you don't need to do cardio. I just lift weights and my heart rate goes up. So that's cardio, right? So there's, doing too much cardio. You need to hammer that for losing weight, but also people who preach that you don't need to do cardio. You can only lift and that's it.
Yeah, I really loathe the cardio as a fat loss tool kind of advice. It doesn't make any sense to me logically, rationally at any level. If all you're judging your fitness by is what you see in the mirror with regard to a body fat percentage, and you think that in order to change that and your health and your physique is purely predicated on that, you don't understand what's going on internally and how that type of exercise can benefit you otherwise, and how detrimental it can be if that's what you're thinking cardio needs to be used for. Because if that's where your mindset is, the application that people use in order to get that done just goes into an entirely different rabbit hole. And there's so much shit that goes along with that. Everything from going out and spending money on gadgets to, thinking you have to be in some type of a HIIT training routine in order to do all of this stuff. Just starts to pile on. I mean, that you could have nailed the worst one on the planet.
Yeah, I think it discourages people from getting started as well, because they think that, okay, if I want to start my fitness journey or my weight loss journey, I'm just going to be running all the time. I hate running. I hear that so often. I hate running. I hate running. And so I can't do this because you're just going to make me run. No, I'm actually not going to make you run.
Quit before you even started.
Yeah.
Listening to the three of you, something that comes back to my mind, and I really hesitate saying it just because I don't want to bash, but it's going to sound like I'm bashing it, but it's that company out there that markets to individuals who want to lose weight, or women who are in their 40s and you need to come and do this circuit training. And that's probably one of the last things that women need to do at that age with everything that's going on as far as what they're entering into at that period of time in their life. So yes, I'm talking about perimenopause because perimenopause can start anywhere between 10 to 15 years prior, to going into perimenopause itself. And so, the marketing wheel as far as, get your heart rate zone up to here and this is your fat burning zone and those types of things. So I think that is something that has been very detrimental that maybe people don't stop to think too much about because they constantly see on social media, this messaging as work hard, go do this, do HIIT, and that's not what they need probably.
Very, very good point. There are several brands that are doing that, and I appreciate you not trying to bash anyone, but I'll fucking say it. Like Orange Theory was kind of top of the heap. I have a very good friend that works for a very large corporation that owns multiple brands, and they're all selling the same shit on a different piece of equipment. For the most part, and they are targeting a very specific, market segment. You just nailed it. And it's probably the worst advice you could be giving a lot of these people. I'm not saying it's bad for everybody, but I'm saying if your goal is to build muscle, right, be healthier, stronger, more fit, and then lose body fat at the same time, man, you've really set them up for failure.
Yeah.
For the long term. That's not to say that everybody is going to, come out of that thing unhealthy. I just don't think they're going to get what they're being sold if they continue down that path too long. So that's a really good one. I really hadn't thought of.